we have a nice, normally tip of the week, but we have an add-on review of the very anticipated private member chat add-on. And what we wanted to do is not just demonstrate how the add-on works, but also when to leverage the power of this add-on, because it does substantially affect some of the logic on your site as far as the user experience and how they contact members. And we just want to make sure that you're prepared to use this awesome add-on at the right time of your site's performance. All right, so let's dive right into it. So we do have a new add-on. It's called the Private Member Chat. Before I go any further, let me show you where it is on the Brilliant Directories website. And you can read up on more information. If you go to the add-ons page, it's actually at the top here, Private Member Chat. And you can read up on some of the features and benefits of that here. If you're part of the VIP Add-ons Club, you already have this activated on your site. And in this presentation, I'll show you where the settings are. So what we want to cover today is when to leverage the power of private member chat messages. And before we dive into it, let's talk a little bit about what the private member chat is. Essentially, it's a way for website visitors to, instead of just submitting the lead form that we're all used to, and it's a one-way message and there's no way to respond back, and the member gets the lead and they can purchase the lead or accept it for free, but then they have to call or send a separate email to that visitor who submitted the lead. So this private member chat will replace the lead form on the page where you contact a specific member. Another important thing, and it's a benefit, it does require the visitor to create an account in order to send a message to the member. So you'll probably get higher registrations from visitors who will submit their email address in order to take advantage of the chatting service on your site. I find it that it's a very secure way for visitors and members to chat. Visitors might not want to give their email address and their phone number like they do in a lead form to the member they're contacting, so they could just send them an open message with the relevant information about their inquiry, and they can leave out their phone number and their email until they're ready to actually share that information. Also, what's really nice is there's continuous chatting through your site, so the visitor and the member can continue to send messages back and forth to each other, actually very similar to LinkedIn or Fiverr or freelancer.com. So it's a familiar experience. And what I like the most is notification emails are sent upon each reply. So both the visitor and the member, as they reply to each other, will get email notifications with direct links so they can respond to the message from their member dashboard on your website. All right, well, I think the best way to review it is actually seeing it in action here. So let me get something fired up here, and we can actually see what the settings are and where to kind of make some of the edits and the changes.
Yeah, and I have to say, of all the add-ons that I've seen released, I personally feel that this is one of the add-ons that's going to have the biggest impact on your directory if you enable it. It's just phenomenal what you get by keeping people on your website. And getting return visitors is one of the biggest challenges. And when somebody returns to your website in order to reply to a message, they get inspired to maybe add more content, maybe check something out, maybe reach out to another member. And there's just so many benefits to really enabling this on your website. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, is you're bringing people back to your site to continue chatting, and there's various benefits to that. All right, so if you're part of the VIP Add-ons Club, you already have this on your site. But as a fail-safe, none of the settings are active. We don't want to just turn this on all of a sudden and now your site doesn't have the lead form there. It has like the chat thing, and I'll show you what that is exactly. So the first thing is, where do you enable this? So let's go to Settings and General Settings. And you enable this in two ways. One is site-wide, so you can turn this entire functionality on for your entire site, and you can also turn it off. The next place you enable it is on a per membership level basis, so you can decide which specific membership levels can receive chat messages. So to turn this on site-wide, you want to go to General Settings and then toggle on over to the Integrations tab. From here, you can scroll down and right now it's the last option, private member chat messages. And by default for you, it'll be set to no, but you can go ahead and click on yes, and it's still not going to do anything because we still haven't assigned it to any specific membership levels. But by turning this on to yes, it's actually enabling private chat messages on your site. So you want to set this to yes, and then go ahead and save your changes. Okay, great. Now I'm actually going to backtrack a bit. The next place you want to go is your product section to your different membership levels. So now that we've enabled the add-on on the site, we want to activate it on specific membership levels. And we'll use the basic membership level on this sample site as our testing membership level. So I'm going to click on Edit. And we're going to toggle over to additional settings. And footnote, we realize that now there are a lot of additional settings, so we're going to work on creating better subsections to categorize all these awesome options that you have here for the different membership levels. But for right now, if you toggle down to the member dashboard area, it's the last option here, enable private chat messages. Just as an example, I'm going to set this to no, just so we all can recognize the familiar lead form that's on the member's contact page first. So I'll go ahead and save these changes. Okay, great. And I'm going to go to, let me do a search here. I'm just going to go to a member's page. Actually, I'll just go to my own profile here. And I'll click on send message. Okay, so we're all familiar with this form here to send a message to a member. And that's what it has always been, and it is by default. So now let's enable the chat messages. And we'll save the changes. And I'm actually going to do this in a separate tab here. So if a visitor wants to contact a member, but they're not logged in, they're going to be prompted to log in, or there are links here by default to register for a general user account or sign up as a paid member. This can be modified, so just depending on your website's goals and how you want to design it, it's nice that you can add the links here. If someone doesn't have a login already, they can quickly register on the site and continue chatting with the member that they're trying to get in touch with. I know a lot of people in the Facebook group, even when it's the get matched form, they've said, how can I force people to log in order to send even submit a lead form, the lead form to a member? And what we've recommended is to use the members only option and to make this page members only, so someone has to be logged in. But with the chat feature, it does allow them to reach this page, and then they are prompted to log in here directly. So let me actually log in as a member. So let me just use the back end here to quickly log in as a member. And I'm going to send a message to this company here. So let me just log in as this hair design sample studio. Okay, and I'll refresh the page. And we'll see now I am logged in as a valid member, and I can start chatting with this person. So I can say, hi there, I need a haircut. And we'll send the message. Okay, it says the message has been sent. I'm going to click on OK. And now it's taken me to my dashboard. I'm a valid member. I have a dashboard area. I'm logged into my account. So this is now my chat. Now, what did the other member receive on their end? Well, a couple things. One, they received an email. I have my email set up here. And let me just do a search here. So the first one is you started chat with a member on my new website. So this went to the person who created it. I've connected my email to this person's account. It's letting me know that I started a chat. And again, you'll have access to edit these email templates, make them a more elaborate, more awesome. This is just default boilerplate email templates that you can modify. And if I log into this person's account who received the message, I'll click on Edit Listing. They not only received an email that they have a new chat message, but they also have a notification that there is a chat message here. This is a brand new link now in their side menu. So they can click here, or they can click in the email. And here's the new thread. You can see it's bold, which means there's a new message pending here. So I'll go ahead and click on this, and I can see that it's from Hair Design Studio, and I can reply, and I'll just say, I'll be happy to help you, and I'll send the message. Okay, great. I'll just reload the page. So now we're starting a dialogue between myself and Hair Design Studio. Let me toggle to my other browser actually. Okay, and let me refresh. So I'm using Firefox for one and Chrome for the other. So now if I refresh this chat, here we go. So now I have a reply from Extentia. I'll be happy to help you. And then I could say, do you have time on Tuesday? And what's really awesome is they're chatting through the website. And let's see some of the emails that they get now that they're going back and forth. Let me go back to my email here and just do a search. So you can see someone replied to your chat, and it says you received a reply from one of our members regarding a private chat. Click the link to continue things. So this is the link that the member can click on. It'll take them directly to the chat on your site, and they can continue replying and responding every time there's a new chat messages coming in. And this is going to be a continuous chat, and what's really cool is they'll spend more time on your site. There's going to be more value from your site. But in a nutshell, it's very simple and very basic, but this is how the back and forth will go between a visitor and a member.
And like you said in that earlier slide, it's a very familiar experience to how it works on Fiverr, how it works on LinkedIn. So both the members and the end users will be accustomed to that. I think this is a much more natural way of communication than the lead engine, for example, which lead engine is fine if it's a lead form where you're going to distribute that lead to multiple people. But I think if somebody's contacting a member directly, they're kind of expecting an experience like this one.
Exactly. And I think when you combine this with the email notifications and the fact that they'll probably be logged in, it's going to create a nice dialogue between the two people back and forth. Just a bonus thing here, what I like also, there is a report feature that either party can use. And then you as the admin get notified if maybe someone is being inappropriate, or they're abusing the chat, or they're just saying mean things to the person or not professional. Any one of the parties can report the chat, and I'll go ahead and report it. And the chat record will still be there, but they won't be able to talk back and forth to each other. You as the admin can, and I'll show you, you'll get notified. And let's actually go to the admin area. Now, this is new for you guys. If you want to see all the chat dialogues that are going on between your members, it is under the leads section under direct messages here. And we can see there's a couple threads here. Both of them have been reported in our testing. So you can actually read the thread, and you can see what's been going on. You can read if someone's been inappropriate. You can take action at the admin. Maybe you want to boot them off of your website, or send them an email warning them about your guidelines and rules. But this way, it does provide some protection for your members in case somebody is acting inappropriately with the chat messages, and then you as the admin can take appropriate actions based on what your guidelines and rules are. All right, so that's how it works in a nutshell. That's how you activate it on your site. And we also wanted to cover some benefits for you guys, the website owners, of why private chat messaging for members would add value for you, the website owner. And Pat, I'm actually going to pass it over to you because you came up with the majority of these.
All right, sure thing. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. The number one thing that it does is it increases user signups. And I've actually seen some people email in questions already asking if they should sell that to members as an upsell, and I would not do that. The reason why is that what you want is you want your general users, people visiting your websites, will now become members of your website. Right now, if I contact a member with the default lead engine, if you want to find my email, you'd have to go into the contacts of Brilliant Directories, but I do not have an account, which means I have no affiliation with the brand, whatever your directory is. I'm not a member of that. I did not get a welcome email. I did not get an account. I did not get encouraged to visit the site again and to interact and feel like I'm a part of this community. And the fact that this now forces people to create an account in order to communicate with your members means that you're opening up a whole new type of member for your websites. That general website visitor, they might be a business owner that one day will upgrade to your website. Maybe their first interaction is reaching out to a member for a service, and they see value and they end up signing up. But that increasing those signups will bring so much value to you and your business overall. When you're speaking to advertisers, when you're speaking to investors, the types of questions that they ask you are, how many members do you have? How many users do you have? And until today, you haven't been able to really say people that submit leads or users of your website. And now you're going to be able to leverage that in terms of those presentations. So I think the amount of signups being increased is significantly impacted by this. Obviously, the return visits, we touched on that already. But making it easy, getting somebody to your website the first time oftentimes costs money. You got to spend pay-per-click money, social media advertisements, and you have no idea how often somebody clicks on an ad. They might engage with your site, and they'll forget you ever existed. Let's all think about how many ads we see on a daily basis, how many websites we visit all the time. So if you don't make it easy for people to come back to your website, and you just send them an email and you say, hey, John, here's the email and the phone number of this person. You can call them on your phone. And all of that interaction happens on their phone, nor the website visitor, nor your member will really remember that interaction even started on your website in the first place. So the private chat sends people back to the site. Every time they get a message, that email is key, because that email includes a link that when you click on it, it automatically logs you back in, takes you to that message. They're interacting with your brand once again. And then, of course, that's how that leads to the engagement and the convenience that we're talking about on point 3.
And another thing about the user signups, Pat, like I use a lot of sites where you have to sign up once and then you can contact the members or you can browse the site. Pinterest forces you to even just sign up to browse the site. But I use like Thumbtack to find service providers. And once I set up an account, I create a general user account. I know that I can send messages to all the service providers on their website one time. So what it actually does is it gets the general user invested with something tangible rather than sending a message and then just one confirmation email. Now they feel like they've unlocked some functionality on your site, and they're probably going to be more inclined to utilize it and explore more on what they can do on your site now that they're registered. And part of that is you are educating them with the welcome emails, like, hey, welcome to, and we touched on this in previous webinars, like welcome emails letting them know that what they've unlocked now that they've registered their email address on your site. So I think it's about getting them more invested in the site as well.
And there's so many B2B directories out there. There's a lot of professionals that they just don't want the businesses that they're contacting to have their phone numbers, to have their emails. We're really in the day and age where security is so important and privacy is so important. So the fact that I would fill out a form on a website and then I start getting phone calls because you shot my phone number out to all these people might turn me off from visiting your website again. But if that first experience can be a successful one, where I created an account, I contact the member, they don't have my phone number, I'm not receiving phone calls, I'm not getting any SMS messages, and the only way they can communicate with me is via this private message board. And if I'm concerned about my experience, I have an outlet to report abuse or to say, hey, I really don't like this guy, he keeps sending me messages even though I'm not interested anymore, which then we go to the website owner. That experience is vastly better than the previous one, if you ask me from a consumer's point of view.
Yeah, it depends on your business model. So definitely when you fill out that lead form, people are sharing their email and phone number. That's the point of a lead, is you want someone to call. But this is a little more passive, and it allows them to get to know each other before that information is passed.
And we did have a question specifically about that, asking, hey, can we still have that lead form for like a get matched form where my website drives leads to its members and have this chat just for like private conversations between consumers and members?
That's a good question. So yes, you can still have the lead form. In this case, it's still in the sidebar. And why don't we go ahead and actually go ahead and fill that out here.
But I think in most instances, the most common use case would be more like, for example, those quote websites on the homepage that have the lead form, which is like a pooled quote that you
Right.
shop out to the members.
Yes, yes, when they're not on a specific profile page.
Correct. Correct. I think by far the most common use case. I personally would not recommend having both the lead form and the private chat on the profile page. I would have the leads be for the pool of leads that come in through a get match form.
Yeah. So again, anyway, but the point is that the chat and
The
the leads will
flexibility.
continue to work on the website as a way to reach out to them. And hey, you just doubled up the methods to engage with your members. You can send them leads from landing pages you create, as long as the location and the service requested match the member, and they can receive chat messages. So you're really creating value and a pulse of your website to keep in touch with your members.
I always found it challenging to educate directory members what the difference between a lead and a direct lead, right? We had indirect leads and direct leads, and I feel like this is so much more intuitive. You have your private chat, which obviously somebody contacted me on my profile, and then a lead is what really a lead is intended to be. It's basically coming from a third-party website. It's not somebody that's already reached out to me to start a private conversation.
Yes. Yeah, and the leads you can sell for revenue, and the chat messages are just providing a convenience and value for your members. But inherently, you're getting value from it as the website owner, because again, you're keeping people on your site, you're getting more page views, you're probably going to have more daily active users with the chat, as opposed to the lead form.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff there. 6 benefits: increase user signups, return visitors. It's definitely a convenience factor for members. It also increases your brand awareness. More people are coming to your site and using your site. They're probably going to be talking about it more with their friends and colleagues. Also, members remember your site because they're hanging out more on your site and they're receiving those email notifications from your site. And hopefully those email notifications means $signs for the businesses, or if you're just managing a friendly community site, it just shows a nice pulse coming from your site. And then lastly, the lead form does ask for email and phone number and first name and last name, and then members can purchase those leads. But with the chat message, it can just be a friendly message like, hey, do you have availability on Tuesday? And then only at the discretion of the people chatting can they share that phone number or email, even if it's required at that point between the two parties. So you are protecting a little bit of your member and your visitors' information. And then also they can report abuse with the basic report feature right now to, again, notify the admin of any inappropriate activity as well. All right, and if you guys are going to be enabling this on your site, we obviously showed you the settings to enable in the general settings, and then on the specific membership level that you want to allow to receive chat messages. But in order to make sure you have a really smooth experience, we've created some tips here just to make sure that you're using this to the best of its ability. The first thing is, and we've done it a couple times with that basic membership level, you want to go ahead and enable the chat messaging for select membership levels. So maybe, as VJ was saying, he wants his premium members to receive those private chat messages, but the lower tiered levels, they would only receive leads, which then they would have to pay for in order to get the contact information. So go ahead and enable it for your select membership levels. And by the way, it's not a bad idea if you want to just enable it for all your membership levels as well. So if you just want open chatting on your site from anyone who's logged into the site, any valid member who's logged in, go ahead and enable the setting for all the membership levels as well. As we mentioned, we also recommend, and you probably have this on your site, is creating at least one general user membership level so that if they are not logged in, and let's actually backtrack, let me log out of this thing. So if I'm not logged in as a member, I am prompted to log in to send a direct message, but underneath here are links to kind of register as a general user or sign up as a paid business. I just like to make sure that you do have a checkout page set up for a general user account so someone can quickly sign up to your site. And if you don't have a general user account, Let me just show you a couple things, a quick way to set up a general user account. So let's go to our membership levels. Now this site already has a general user account, but let's say I wanted to create a new one. The main component of a general user account for most websites is that it's free to sign up and it's a non-searchable member. So it's not going to show up in the member search results on your website. It's kind of like a hidden member. They're just signing up with it with their email. So if you wanted to, you could create a new product. I'll just call it General User 2. And there's lots of settings here and whatnot. We'll just keep it simple. Pricing, we're going to set it to free. So that's number 2. It's a free membership level to sign up to. And then search visibility, this is the important one. You want this one to be, excuse me, here we go. Are these members searchable on the website? And we want to set to no, so they're not going to show up in the regular member search results with the business listings and whatnot. And I'll go ahead and save the changes. Okay, so now we have this general user account. And then lastly, you just want to make sure you're linking to it underneath the member login form. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. These buttons should be there by default on your site unless you've modified them. But basically, this is taking you to a sign up page. So if you needed to create a new membership level and take them to a sign up page, sign up pages are based on the ID. So this is, for example, product ID 6. And again, you probably don't need to do this on your site if you already have the general user account, but just to brush up on how to do this, you can go to the menu manager and your login links are here, login page links. So you basically have 2 buttons. This one says, not a registered user, created a user account. And this one says, are you a local business? And here's the link it takes you to. So this is checkout 5. I'm going to change it to checkout 6. And even if you wanted to bring more attention to that, you could actually get rid of this link, the one, and just have people register as a general user. And similar to we do on the pricing page, as you saw, we were editing the width on Lindsay's pricing page. We were changing the 3 to a 4. You could change this to a 12, and it'll take up the full width. So I know I'm going a little quick here. I just don't want to make the presentation about how to edit the login page, but now we have the login and then not a registered user, create free user account here. And if we click this, it takes us to the general user 2 account. And after I fill this out, I can start chatting with our members. And then Pat, you want to talk a little bit about customizing email templates and why that could be important with this?
Yeah, I think it's important, particularly if you have an existing directory and you're going to be releasing this new functionality. I think it's important that you modify the chat notifications, explaining to them how this new functionality works and what the benefits are to them as members. And also, I would make sure if you're introducing a general user's membership level that you customize the welcome email that they're going to get, because your email templates are probably tailor-made to the businesses or professionals or alumni signing up to your directory, and a general user probably wouldn't fall into that category. So you want to give them a personal experience by having their own welcome email. We did cover that, Jason, in a few other webinars. I think you have a link to share.
Yeah, we do. So here it is in our blog. We have 2 segments on how to optimize some of the default email templates. And also we did one on the 4 most important email templates to optimize. This is just doing a search in our blog for email template, but it's the first 2 results. I'm going to share this in the chat with everyone. I definitely recommend watching these 2 videos here. And also, and again, I want to commend Lindsay on what she's done, is a lot of people gear their site towards the professional. And what I think Lindsay did very well is she has geared it to her end user, the general user who's trying to search her site for content. So really looking at your site from the visitor's perspective is a great way to ensure that you're going to get good that they're going to get good value out of their website, because not everything is about the professionals joining and signing up. It's about providing the users with information and value that they're looking for on your website, and that includes editing the welcome email templates just for your general user members. And I think number 4 here, VJ, we touched on it a bit, understanding the difference between leads versus chat messages. In a nutshell, leads is just a one-way message to the member. They can purchase the lead. After purchasing, they get the email and the phone number of the person who submitted the lead, and it's on the member to follow through and contact that person who needs the help. Whereas the chat messages are continuous messages between the visitor and the member, and they can continue chatting with each other indefinitely. There is no cost for the member to receive the chat message. It's just an open thing. So if you wanted to charge for chat messaging, probably, again, as VJ mentioned, you want to make it available to your higher paying or higher tiered membership level, so you're already receiving some revenue from members who want the chat functionality in general. And then lastly is, you can tell your network that you have new functionality on your site. Obviously, do some small testing, maybe set up a sample membership level with a sample member, and just get familiar with how the chatting works and how you need to be logged in. And once you get a little familiar with the add-on and the few settings there are for it, go ahead and activate it on your site and notify your members. It can be turned into big news. Make it look like your developers have been working really hard on this functionality, and now it's available to your community. And yeah, it's a great reason. And any update to your site is a great reason to engage your community, and even make videos and webinars and showing them how it works on your site for them, and really turn it into a production when any notable update has been made on your site, or any feature add-ons that BD releases that you can now use on your site. You can definitely use that as press releases and really great news for your community.